Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Maximal CYBERSHARK from the Beast Wars Transformers reissue line from Kenner, aka Hasbro. As with all the other Beast Wars reissues, this is a Walmart exclusive, and I'm actually really excited for this one because this is one I didn't have as a kid, so my first time getting this guy. As you can see, we have the authentic retro packaging here. Got some really nice artwork of the robot mode up here in the upper right corner, and then we have the bubble-on card with the shark mode, and kind of shows the conversion down here. Spinning it around to the back, we get the instructions, and we get a little kind of file card here for CYBERSHARK. And you can see we have the Hasbro logo down here since Hasbro now owns Kenner. But yeah, really cool. I'm really excited for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get him out of the packaging, and we're going to take a closer look. So here is CYBERSHARK out of the package. As you can see, he is a hammerhead shark. Really nice detailing. All the paint applications here on the top look really good. He's got his big fin here in the back. He's got some little fins here on the side that have a ball joint, so you have some movement there. You can kind of play with them around as you would. Some nice silver paint here for the teeth. You got the red eyes on the side. Now, unfortunately, because of the way this gimmick works, it's kind of hard to get it to come all the way down and actually stay there. So it's kind of a really noticeable seam there, which is a bit of a bummer. But you can fire that section off by pressing down on this. It's not a really strong spring, unfortunately. It also might just be because this piece is rather heavy, but you can see you just kind of load it back in there, and then it just kind of falls out of there. He also has another gimmick back here for the back of the tail, where you press this button, and this little piece here comes springed out. Now, you have to kind of be careful, because when he comes transformed this way in the box, you have to kind of rotate the tail into place. Now, the way this is supposed to work, you can see that the robot fists are down here, and then there's this little tab here on the back of the feet, and that is supposed to tab in loosely. It doesn't snugly tab in, but just to kind of align it, you want to put that tab from the back of the foot right there into the robot fist. And so when you line that up, which can be a little easier said than done, that way it gives you enough clearance to have this rotate back in and catch. Because if you don't have these kind of all the way out to the side like you need to, then this piece won't be able to kind of tuck in and snap in there and be free to spring out when you press the button there. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So he's got two little action features in this mode, plus he has the ball joints for the fins here on the side. Otherwise, there's not really much to him, but he does look good. Like I said, really nice paint applications. I really do like the way he looks. Let's go ahead, let's get into his transformation. So transformation is actually pretty simplistic, as you might expect for a 90s toy. You're going to go ahead and just completely remove the tail section. You can see that that's just a peg that pegs in right there. We're going to put that off to the side. And then you're going to just fire off the shark head and just put that to the side. And then you have this piece that you're left with. You're going to come down here. You can see the very obvious seam. And then this is just going to split open just like that. You're going to take this section. You can go ahead and flip up the feet. This whole kind of cream-colored section here is going to unpeg from right here, and that's going to rotate completely forward, and then you're going to grab a hold of this whole section, make sure the head has clearance, and then bring it down, and then this is going to peg in right down here. So bring that in, and that just simply pegs right down there. You're going to go ahead and get those arms out of the way, and then just rotate the arm at the bicep 90 degrees. And let me zoom out a little bit here. And you can kind of situate the head, and then there you go. That is CYBERSHARK. So you are all transformed there. But what you're left with looks pretty good. Some really nice paint applications. You have all this really nice silver here on the chest. You have some more of that kind of metallic turquoise color here for the launcher. I really like the head sculpt. I love those teeth. The red eyes outlined in black look really sharp. And if you're familiar with this line at all, they did eventually do a Transmetal 2 CYBERSHARK, which later became Skybite. So you can kind of see the influence of Skybite's head right here. And that head is on a ball joint, so you have a nice range of motion there for that. You do have a ball joint for the shoulder. You have that bicep swivel. You have, I would say, almost 180 degrees there in the elbow. You have ball joints in the hips. You have a thigh swivel. You have pretty much 90 degrees there in the knee. And then you have a little bit of movement here in the ankle, really just for transformation. No ankle tilt or anything like that. But he looks pretty cool. You even have the underside here all kind of painted this reddish brown color, which really works. So altogether, I think it's a really great color scheme. I think he looks pretty cool. You do have these fins still, so if you want to position these in any specific way, that's completely up to you. I mean, most of the time you don't really see them. I kind of like to just angle them up like this, because I think that looks kind of cool. Maybe a little bit out to the side, something like that. But again, you can kind of play with it and move it around as you like. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, he's got a decent amount of articulation. He's got a pretty hefty backpack, as you can see. You can go ahead and bring the claw back in if you want, and this peg does swivel, so then he can go ahead and hold it. And then that way you can go ahead and deploy that kind of grabber claw weapon like that. So you can go ahead and hold that if you like. Kind of a gigantic weapon, but, you know, it works. You also have 2 missiles, which he actually stores back here. You can see one right here. If I go ahead and push that up, you can see it start to poke up the top, and then you can grab that. And then this section here, the missile launcher, can actually rotate 90 degrees forward, and then you can go ahead and pop one of these in, and then he can fire this off as a weapon as well. And I will say that the missiles seem to fire a little bit better than the shark head, and it kind of just lends to my theory that the shark head's just a little too heavy. But these aren't, so these actually fire pretty well. But if you want, you can go ahead and load the shark head back in, and then you can kind of fire that as well. But as you can see, it doesn't really fire all that far because it's just a little too heavy. Alternately, if you like, you could go ahead and just put that back in and rotate it down if you want him to have the giant hammerhead belt. I think that looks a little ridiculous, but if you don't want to lose that piece because there's really nowhere to store it, you absolutely could just have him kind of wear that. I just think it looks a little bit cooler kind of tucking that in. Plus then you get the really nice silver here, and I think that just kind of pops. So kind of a basic little deluxe, but it was the 90s, and I think they did a pretty good job. Really nice paint applications, though. I think he looks really sharp. The kind of massive claw accessory is not the best, but it's perfectly fine. I've seen much more ridiculous things for Beast Wars toys to wield as weapons. But I really, really appreciate the fact that you can go ahead and just store those missiles back there, and you almost don't even see them. They're so perfectly tucked away, you almost don't even know they're there. And you won't lose them. It's really nice storage for them, and you can just kind of keep them back there, and then whenever you want, pop one out, load it into this chest launcher, and you're good to go. So I really like that play feature. I think that works really well, and I think the robot mode looks pretty cool. He is going to have a little bit of difficulty because he's so back heavy. He does have these tiny little heels, but they don't really help all that much. You kind of have to really pitch him forward. But you can kind of rotate the head up if you want, because he does have so much movement there with that ball joint. So you might have to kind of have him crouch forward a little bit just because he's so back heavy. But you can get him to stand. I think CYBERSHARK is really cool. Really happy to finally add this guy to my collection since it was one I never had as a kid. I absolutely love the color scheme, and I love that head sculpt. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. And I did have Skybite years later. I never had the original Transmetal 2 CYBERSHARK, but when it was repainted into Skybite as part of the Car Robots / Robots in Disguise line, I got it really early on, and I absolutely love that mold, and Skybite's kind of become a fan favorite character. So it's really fun to kind of go back and see the influence, kind of where his design came from with this original version of CYBERSHARK. So I think that's really, really cool. There's really not too much to complain about with this guy. Yes, it is kind of a basic deluxe, but of course it's a reissue from the 90s, so I think that makes total sense. And really, he just looks good. It's a really nice design. The color scheme really works. I love the head sculpt. He's got a ton of accessories. Yes, they're kind of a little goofy with the giant claw arm weapon, and then he's got the kind of like firing hammerhead missile, which is a little bit too heavy for the launcher, so it doesn't really handle it all that well. But then he's got those 2 missiles up here that just store really well, and you can use them with the launcher, and they actually fire much better. So he's just got a ton of play features. He looks great. I think this one's an absolute slam dunk. Definitely recommend picking it up and adding it to your collection, especially if you're like me and you never had the original as a kid. This is a really fun reissue, and I'm really glad that they got to him. It's kind of funny because I really expected, the more popular characters, Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Rat Trap, anyone who was on the show, but I'm really happy that they're getting into a little bit more of the obscure toys that were released, because it gives someone like me an opportunity to pick up ones that they never had as a kid. So I think that's really, really fun. Like I said, Walmart exclusive. You can find them online. You can find them in store. I actually found this one in store, so he should be around. I've seen him in store a couple times since I picked him up. So if you're looking for this guy, definitely check your local Walmart. Yes, I know the price is a little high. It's standard deluxe pricing, so I think it's $25, which is a bit expensive considering what you're getting. But it's a really fun nostalgia trip, and it still holds up. It's a pretty fun little figure. Yes, the transformation is a little basic, but the robot mode is really solid, and I really, really like him a lot. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.